Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some more Microsoft Flight Simulator X Steam Edition with the Texan 2. And this is part 3, leg 3 of our Jamaican tour. So why have I been doing this Jamaican tour? Basically, I wanted to show off a bunch of different things. Most notably the payware products, Chaseplane from FSFX packages, as well as PrecipitFX, also from FSFX packages, and SceneryTech's North American Landclass, which is what's being used right now to depict the proper trees here in Jamaica. In addition to which, I'm also showing off some freeware items. For example, the, I think it's FSX Team GEX, or Team GEX, if you want to call it that, Autogen replacement. Basically, all the Autogen buildings that you're seeing here, with the exception of everything that's at the airport, is being replaced by this little freeware thing that you can download to do that. And I think it's done a phenomenal job. It's actually improved my FPS over a period of time. So this is really great. There's other stuff that I'm showing off as well, a little too numerous to name. One thing I do want to call attention to, however, is this airport that we're at right now. We are, as I'm sure you've seen in the little pop-up, at Tinson Pen, or Mike Kilo Tango Papa. Took me a while to remember it there. So yeah, Mike Kilo Tango Papa, which is Tinson Pen. Tinson Pen is significant to me because as a kid, my dad, when he was learning how to fly, he learned at this very airport in Jamaica. And I used to go with him every weekend as he was going and doing his flight lessons. And sometimes, if I was lucky enough, I would get to go up with him. So this is my turn to do it here in the virtual world. This particular airport, as well as most of the other airports that we've seen thus far, are all made by one guy by the name of Chris Z. He was a viewer of this channel, probably still watches the channel every now and then, but this is a huge shout out to him for making these airports and putting the love into it to make it as I remember. Awesome job. Alright, but we still have a lot of flying to do. Today we are going west, young man. We're going all the way west to the western tip of Jamaica. A fun little resort area called Negril. There is an airport waiting for us there where we may do a landing or we may do a touch and go depending on how long the runway is. And then after we finish up with that, we're going to head to Montego Bay, which is what started this entire tour and which is also what will end this entire tour. So enough of my yakking. Let's hop in the cockpit and let's get this party started. Okay, so we are back in the cockpit, so let's go ahead and get everything all set up here. We'll get the oxygen going. And we'll close our canopy. Make sure it's locked. Very nice, very nice. All the lights are still on, which is fine, but we do need to put the flaps down one notch. That'll be takeoff setting. Okay, and let me just pop up on the GPS our flight plan so I can see exactly how far we need to go. Okay, it says here that we're going to be going to Kirkvine. Now, Kirkvine is not represented in FSX. It is represented in X-Plane, and when I did that little tour, I did show you Kirkvine Airport. It's over by the bauxite plant or the aluminum plant. However, I have a substitute waypoint that's going to be taking its place. Kirkvine is significant because it is close to my hometown of Mandeville. Tuckdee is the next waypoint, so that is another 36 miles out from Kirkvine. Wow, that's a grand total so far of 73, and we're still not even to Negril. Negril is yet another 16 miles out, and then another 26 or so to Sangster in Montego Bay. So yeah, we got a good amount of flying here, a total of about 115 nautical miles to finish up this journey. And it's just after 4, so yeah, we should start getting a little bit of that evening weather and evening sky there. Most of the storms are on the north and the east side of the island, so we should have good weather heading west. And here's the other beautiful thing. This entire time we've been flying into a headwind. We're traveling west. We'll now be having a tailwind, so we should be able to make some good time. Alright, but before I can get out of here, I need to tell the tower my intentions. So let's do that real quick here. And we are departing to the west. Tinson Pen ground, Navy 040, request taxi for west departure.
Navy 040, 40, taxi holding point for runway 14 via taxiway. Contact tower on 1, jet 9 decimal 6 when ready.
Okay, sounds good to me. And we'll go ahead and acknowledge them. Taxiing, hold short, runway 14 using taxiway, Navy 040. There's only one taxiway here, so they didn't even bother to name it Alpha or Bravo or anything. And we will need to head in that direction, so let's hop to it. Brakes off, throttle up a little bit. Quick altimeter check. Okay, roughly about the same as we were before. Next stop, runway 14. Okay, so we'll pull up here. This runway is deceptively short because it's got such huge blast pads to it. You can't really tell just how much usable space you've got. But I think we should be able to do it. We did lose a fair amount of gas in the drop tanks. However, we still haven't touched any of the fuel on board, so we should have enough to take us to the other side of the island. Alright, let's go ahead and get clearance to take off, and then we will hop to it. Tinson Pen Tower, Navy 040 at runway 14, ready for departure to the west.
Navy 040, cleared for takeoff, runway 14, departure to the west approved.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 14, Navy 040. Okay, no traffic to the east. And no traffic to the west. Okay, now is our opportune moment. Quick check. Lights are on. Everything's on. Pitot heat is on. Altimeter is set. Okay, let's do this. And have I mentioned this thing does not like turning? Gotta give it a little bit more power in the turn. Okay, there we go. Brakes. Alright, here we go, folks. One more time. Brakes down, throttles up. Okay, we're almost to rotate speed, which is good because we're almost to the end of the runway. Alright, right here should do it. Let's rotate. And I learned my lesson from Norman Manley International. We're going to wait a while before we put the flaps up. Gear can go up now, though. Okay, frequency change is approved. We'll take another look at the city of Kingston. We are going to swing around the long way around. But before we do that, we should probably call Manley Tower, which is over there. We're going to try and stay out of the way of their traffic while we're at it. Manly approach, Navy 040 is type Raytheon T6, 2 miles southeast of Mike Kilo Tango Papa, 1100, request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Navy 040, Manly approach, squawk 0506.
Squawk 0506, Navy 040.
Navy 040, radar Landclass 2 miles north of Manly, 1600, clear through the Charlie airspace, maintain on navigation.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace, Navy 040. Alright, so we'll take another look at Kingston here. I forgot to mention on our way in that lake on the other side of this hill, which is now being obscured by this haze and cloud. That lake is actually a reservoir. That is the Mona Reservoir, and it is significant because it provides a lot of the water for Kingston. And it is also right next door to the University of the West Indies. So we'll take a look at that from the outside as we make our way around. Okay, we still have a little bit of a left turn to go before we can get to our GPS track. So we'll take one final look at Tinson Pen as we get over these clouds here. I'm going to see if I can bring her up to about 10,000 and take full advantage of this west wind here, or at least this wind that's blowing towards the west, out of the east. Alright, so we're just over 5,000 right now. Damn, I love these clouds. I gotta say that active sky cloud art is simply the best when it comes to the depictions of clouds. Combined with ReShade for that extra realistic touch, yeah, I think it looks good. Some of them do look a little bit pink, but that's just minor tweaking that I need to do. Alright, let me trim us down just a touch here, because we are climbing ever so high. There we go. Alright, now we got our trim back. Wow, look at that! That is so pretty. So pretty. So a lot of the flatlands off to the left side, that would be sugarcane country. Sugarcane, of course, being famous for making things like sugar. Alright, let's acknowledge him. Squawk 1200, frequency change approved, Navy 040. In addition to sugar, the other very important thing that's made in these flatlands of Clarendon and St. Catherine would be rum. One of my personal favorites. Manly approach, Navy 040, type Raytheon T6, 6 miles northwest of Mike Kilo Tango Papa, request flight following. Squawk 7332, Navy 040.
Navy 040, radar contact 6 miles west of Mike Kilo Tango Papa, 9,300, altimeter 2991.
Sounds good to me. Copy, Navy 040. Okay, we're closing in on 10K, and we are also closing in on our GPS lines. So... oh, come on.
Contact Kingston, control at 128.1.
Fine, fine. 128.1, Navy 040. But they're going to have to wait a minute, because first I want to equip my autopilot here. Alright, I don't remember if the autopilot is on or off. Okay, now it's off. Now it's on. 10,000, we're stable, and we'll go ahead and put nav hold on. So it should be pulling us back down to about 10,000 feet. And looks like we got a few storms up ahead, but nothing too bad. So let's go ahead and contact Manley approach while the aircraft stabilizes itself. And we'll pull the throttle back a bit. Manley approach, Navy 040 with you, 10,200.
Navy 040, Manley approach, roger, altimeter 29902.
Alright, thank you much. Now don't bother me again. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, the areas down there of St. Catherine and Clarendon are famous for sugarcane, which of course is used to make sugar and rum and stuff like that. So a lot of the plantations that you hear about were located in that neck of the woods. Some of the most famous rum comes out of here, like J. Ray and Nephew and Appleton Estates, all the good stuff that I recall drinking as a young adult and still do enjoy to this date. And then on that side, we have more things like cocoa, which of course is made, used to make chocolate, I should say. And of course, there are a couple of bauxite plants because of the iron-rich dirt, or as we used to call it as kids, red dirt. Really? Didn't I just contact them? Over to 128.1, Navy 040. Goodbye! Kingston Control, Navy 040 with you.
Navy 040, Kingston Control, roger, altimeter 29902.
Okay, altimeter set, we're good to go. Stop bothering me, please. So yeah, around the central part of the island, you'll find a lot of that red dirt, which is iron ore rich dirt, which is why a lot of the aluminum companies like Alcan and Alpart ended up coming to Jamaica and building large plants. Now subsequently, a lot of those plants ended up closing. I heard recently that one of the plants was reopening, but I think it's got the backing of either the Chinese or the Russians, so I don't know what's going on with that. Here's hoping Jamaica doesn't turn communist. Alright, let me zoom out on the GPS here and see how close we are to the next waypoint. 18 nautical miles, so we're passing Clarendon now, and then we'll be passing the parish of Manchester. The waypoint that we have selected is in the parish of Manchester, almost exactly on top of Mandeville.
Turn right, heading 170, proceed on course. Kingston Control 71226 is climbing through 10,200 for flight level 200. Now 7126 Kingston Control, roger, altimeter 29902.
You know, that's one thing that I could never get over, even as a little kid. You know, when you're a little kid, you think the world is just so huge. Imagining being up here at about 10,000 feet, or close to it, in a Cessna, looking to the left and you can see the south side of the island, and looking to the right and seeing the north coast of the island, and realizing just how small the island really is. You don't really think so much about that as a kid because you're just awed by the fact that, you know, you're a little fish in a big pond. But when you put it in perspective and you see things at altitude, the world just looks so much different. I don't know, I guess that's just my musings for the day here. And I did notice some flashes of lightning up there, so I imagine that storm is still in full effect. Alright, well, as long as we're on this side of the island, we should be okay. Although, there does appear to be some kind of thunderhead or cumulonimbus directly ahead. Not too keen on that. Alright, well, before it hits us, let's take a quick look outside. Okay, as we close in on this waypoint, I just want to point out the town of Mandeville, right down there. As I've stated before, both in the X-Plane series and earlier in this little mini-series, that is my hometown. That is where I was born. Not a lot of people know that because, it's just not something that I advertise a whole hell of a lot, but yep, that's the sleepy little town that I came from in Jamaica. It seems like forever ago. You figure I'm only, what, 46 as of the time of this recording? Haven't seen that place since I was like 13 or maybe 14. Wow. But again, I'm really glad that SceneryTech did the North American Landclass because default FSX does not have an accurate representation of my hometown. However, SceneryTech did good. They have done me proud because from what I can see down there, that looks to be a pretty good approximation of what the town of Mandeville looks like. Alright, so we'll go back outside for one more time while we say goodbye to the town of Mandeville. Okay, so how much longer do we have until we reach the next waypoint? Approximately 32 nautical miles, 7 minutes. It says our ground speed is about 247 knots. Our actual airspeed is, wow, 195 knots. That's a hell of a tailwind that we've got going on here. Now you know why we were having problems earlier when we were heading the opposite way. Sheesh. But I am not going to complain because the stronger the tailwind, the quicker we are going to make it to Negril. I would say we're about halfway there right now. And we are obscured once more. Although I do kind of like that. Kind of like when we're all obscured. It gives me a chance to practice my IFR. Not that I need much practice, considering the fact that the autopilot is currently controlling the aircraft. Now would be a great time to check for icing on the wings. And actually that brings to mind a very good point. I would love for all the flight simulators to start modeling things like icing. That is an important lesson that every pilot should know. So yeah, dovetail, laminar, Lockheed, hell, even Eagle Dynamics. You guys need to start modeling icing in your flight sims. So that way we have an idea, like a visual cue as to what's going on. And hopefully all the third-party developers that create aircraft, such as the Iris simulations T-6A that we're in, will follow suit and allow us to practice how to get out of that kind of a situation. And we are hitting a lot of turbulence here. As if it wasn't bad enough that all the warm, moist air was rising from these hills, creating thermals, now we've got to deal with all the turbulent cold air inside of this cloud. And as soon as I say it, we're out of it. Love it. Look at that. Perfect blue skies to the west. Oh, yes. Alright, you know what? I'm just going to take it and keep on flying. That was pretty cool. Okay, let me see how close we are now. 21. I don't know if we can pick up Negril just yet, because it's still like another 16 or so miles till we get to Negril. The waypoint that we're looking for is probably just past that row of hills there. And then we're going to swing a little bit to the left. Oh really? We're that close to Montego Bay. Contact Sangster approach on 120.8, Navy 040. Thanks for the help. Bye. Oh wait, we are close to Montego Bay. Look! See that little peninsula jutting out there? That's Montego Bay. That is our final destination. So yeah, no wonder they handed us off. Alright, let's see if we can talk to them real quick here. Sangster approach, Navy 040 with you, 10,100.
Navy 040, Sangster approach, roger, altimeter 29.
Ooh, gotta change my altimeter. There we go. Alright, well how about them apples? Island is so small that we can actually see our final destination. So we're gonna go that away first, and then we're gonna turn around and come back here. Should be good. Should be good. And there's St. Elizabeth Parish. Black River is one of the more notable towns down there. Alligator Pond is back that way. I remember my uncle had a vacation house there that we used to go to when I was a kid. I only ever recall being there once, though. Alright, how far away are we? About 3 minutes and 13 nautical miles away. Okay, not a problem. Alright, so now would be a great time to go back outside, huh? Okay, so we are almost to our waypoint, and then we're going to dogleg a little bit to the left. I'm thinking once we get to this waypoint, that would be a pretty good opportune moment for us to start coming down. Because we're at 10,000, and that airport is probably about 10, maybe 11 feet above sea level. Yeah, we've got a lot of descending that we're going to need to do. And we're going to need to do it in about 16 nautical miles. So let's go ahead and prep for that. Alright, how many miles out are we? 5? Okay. Yeah, I suppose we can start coming down now. So let's go ahead and get the altitude hold off. And we'll start trimming her down. Nice gentle descent here. Things are going to start happening really quickly once we get close to Negril. Because of the way that airport is positioned, it's a little bit odd. So what I might have to do is I might have to swing out to the south and come in, because there's a right way and a wrong way to come into this airport. And I'm really starting to think that that runway is going to be hella short, so we are probably going to want to come in to the north. So yes, we will definitely need to swing out over the water and then come back. Alright, let's drop our throttle down to 50%. And let's get a little bit steeper a descent here. There we go, we got that sucker trimmed up. 1,000 feet per minute. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can contact Negril or if this is one of those Unicom deals. There it is, Negril Aerodrome. And it's a Unicom. Okay. Well, we might as well select our runway. Let's see. Runway 5 would be the one facing kind of north-northeast. I think that's the one we want. Okay, I'm going to go on a hunch here and say that we need a touch and go. I'm not sure I want to do a landing on this, aside from which I don't want this video to be too long. Alright, here we go. Mike Kilo November Golf traffic, Navy 040 is 11 miles east, 8,800 inbound, touch and go, left traffic, runway 5. And we really need to drop our speed and altitude here, so throttle to idle. Just like before, we'll put the speed brakes out. Okay, we can pull the speed brakes in. I don't want to keep them out for too long because that can also create an issue. So we'll pop the speed brakes back in. We'll shallow up here a little. Alright, let's see if we can see the airport. Okay, you should be seeing 2 rows of trees here and a bunch of clouds. Well, I started to say the 2 rows of trees. The airport is literally in between those 2 rows of trees. So that's what we're going to be aiming for. Provided, of course, we can ever make it through these clouds. There we go. Oh, come on! Now you're just playing with me. There we go. Okay. So yes, you can see it is directly off the nose. You might be able to see what appears to be an aircraft or some such. Yeah, from what I hear, this is a gravel strip too, so I'm not looking forward to this one. All the other runways were at least paved, which I can deal with. The gravel strips, on the other hand, that could be a different story. And I did mention in the very first part of this video that I think that my landing gear might need a little bit more air pressure in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull a downwind from here. Actually, let's bring it down to about 2,000. Put the speed brakes out again. Okay, here we go, 2,000. Alright, speed brakes, you can go away now. Come off the nav hold, and we'll swing out to the left. And of course, Negril is famous for its hotels, its resorts. Places like Sandals come to mind as one of the most popular resorts on that very beach down there. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we're passing over it right now. A lot of money comes into Negril. It's definitely one of the more picturesque regions of Jamaica. Okay, so you see where the bay goes out there to the right? That is essentially what we are going to do. We're going to follow that curve around here. So let's get a little bit more speed. try to keep it around 130. I kind of like that as our approach speed. And we're going to swing it all the way around and see if we can pull off this touch and go. Okay, so the airport should be directly ahead. You should see that mansion-looking thing. There's two of them that have brown roofs. The one to the left, we're going to need to be just to the left of that to bring this sucker in. And just like before, we're going to need to skim the trees, bring her down, and hopefully have enough speed to get the hell out of here. Okay, so we're at least lined up, and that runway looks really short. I think this is going to be a bounce more than a touch and go, but let's see if we can pull it off. If you blink, you'd miss it. That was Negril, folks. That was Negril. Okay, we're going to take it up to about 2,000 feet. And I think we should also be close enough to call Sangster and get our clearance to come in. Oh, I forgot to announce we were on final. Okay, so well, I'll tell everybody we're on upwind. Mike Kilo November Golf traffic, Navy 040 is on upwind. We are not landing at runway 5. We're out of here. Ciao. Okay. And we want Sangster. Let me get the ATIS while I'm waiting here.
Sangster airport information. Papa, Jet 1472, wind 080 NG. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky conditions 1,300 scattered, 3,300 scattered. Temperature 270, 0.23, altimeter 2994, ILS, runway 7, landing and departing runway 7. CFR aircraft redirection of flight. All aircraft reach hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you had Papa.
Alright, so we're still running Papa. Okay. Sangster Tower, Navy 040 is 21 miles west with Papa to land.
Navy 040, Sangster Tower, approach, runway 7, altimeter 2994.
Continue runway 7, Navy 040. Okay, so, you can't really see it from here. It's not that bay that's directly in front of the nose, but it's a little bit further off. We're going to turn towards it here. Alright, right there at the center of my engine. Should be pointing directly at it now. I did say we were going to come to about 2,000, but considering the clouds seem to have lifted up a little bit, I'm going to make it 3. So we are almost done, folks.
Jamaica 75. Jamaica 41, clear for takeoff, runway 7, service wind 080 at 8. Clear for takeoff, runway 7, Jamaica 41.
Alright, let's push it up to 3,000 real quick here. Right there should do it. Perfect. Okay, so what is my opinion on the various things that I've been showing off today? Well, Chaseplane, I have to admit, you have done a pretty damn good job. You are definitely easier to use than EasyDock 2, so I think I may have found my go-to, unless of course EasyDock comes out with something that is undeniably better. PrecipitFX, which I keep calling PrecipitX, it's actually PrecipitFX. I really, really like that product, I have to say. The rain effects are phenomenal. I can't wait to see the snow effects. I'll have to travel someplace where they have like a lot of snow just to check that out. But that's also something that's been well executed. So far we've got 2 winners from FSFX packages. Or excuse me, Old Prop Solutions is actually the company name. As far as SceneryTech's North American Landclass, well, the results speak for themselves. That's the most phenomenal I have ever seen Jamaica look ever since I flew in FS9, or FS2000 if you prefer, or 2004, excuse me. This is what Jamaica should look like. Now, my next assignment is going to be to try this in Dovetail Games Flight Sim World. I want to see how they have represented Jamaica and whether or not they've given Jamaica the same, if not better, respect that this whole setup that I've got going has done. And I'm following the coastline for a reason here, because I know that that runway kind of angles towards that little promontory that's about to go underneath my engine cowling there. So if we can line up with that engine cowling, or line up with the engine cowling, if we can line up with the promontory, then we should be dead on target. And actually, you know what? I'll just show you outside. Clear to land, runway 7, Navy 040. Okay, this is it. So yeah, overall, looks like I picked some winners for all the various add-ons that I wanted to show you all in this 3-part episode. I am really, really happy with both the payware and the freeware that I got to put this entire mini-series together. So if you were thinking about Chaseplane, definitely pull the trigger on that one. It is worth it. While you're at it, go ahead and spend a little extra money and pick up PrecipitFX, because that is definitely worth it. If you're in North America or the Caribbean and you want something that will better depict the trees and the Autogen and all that good stuff, definitely go with the SceneryTech Landclass. If I remember correctly, that was pretty cheap too. And what can I say about the Autogen replacement? The Team GEX. Weird team, never heard of them before, but by golly if they haven't done a really phenomenal job. That looks like Montego Bay. And it also looks like I am way over glide slope. So let me just concentrate on flying here, and then we'll talk about the products and everything that I've been showing you afterwards. Alright, looks like we are on glide slope now. Even though we've got a lot of runway to work with, there's not a lot of turnoffs, so I've got to time this just about right. We are going to go to the outside camera for a little bit, but I will be landing from the cockpit, so let's get this over real quick here. Alright, here we go, folks. Our final destination for the evening, Montego Bay, Donald Sangster International Airport. And here we go. A little bit of flare. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Now the sooner I can stop, the better, because we've got a very long drive ahead of us here. Let's see if I can turn around here. Might as well, since the entrance is literally right there. And we'll pull up where we took off from.
Navy 040, contact ground on 121.7.
Alright, will do. 121.7, Navy 040. Thank you so much for the help, sir. I'm going to select ground, but we are not going to talk to them. Okay, there is an Air Jamaica in my way. I did not anticipate that, so I'm going to stop right here. Give Big Bertha the right of way. That's a Kodak moment if I ever saw one. I'm going to stay far enough behind these guys that I'm not in their jet wash, because I really don't feel like flipping over on this runway. That would be bad. And there's another Air Jamaica. Incidentally, here's a little bit of trivia for you. You may notice there's 2 or 3 different liveries here for the Air Jamaicas. There's the one that we just saw, and then there's that one that's already over there at runway 7. There is a reason why Air Jamaica has those 2 different liveries. There are some Air Jamaicas that are actually owned by Air Jamaica, or I guess in this case by the government, because I want to say that Air Jamaica is now owned by the government, if I'm not too mistaken. And then there are those aircraft that are leased from either Airbus or Air France or something like that. The ones that you see, such as this white one that's just about ready to take off, that is representative of a leased one, so pretty much they didn't put the extra money in the paint. Go figure. Little bit of trivia for you. I know it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but thought you might want to know. Alright, I think I'm far enough away from these guys here so I can speed up a little bit. And we'll watch the big boys take off. So there we go. That is a leased Air Jamaica. And that is an owned Air Jamaica. And our parking spot should be somewhere off to this side. Alright, I want to say we're going to need to hang a left here. So folks, I really do hope that you've enjoyed my little tour, aka my excuse to fly the Texan again. I'll tell you a little bit about my history and a little bit about a land that I really do love, that being Jamaica. And more importantly, I hope that you got a benefit out of the information that I've been giving you and what I've been showing you about the products that I've actually been using it. Now bear in mind, I am not paid to display any of these products. I'm just doing it because I feel really strongly that it's really good things. So you might want to check it out again. Maybe it's your cup of tea, maybe it's not, who knows. But as for me, I am pretty much done. So we'll just watch Air Jamaica take off here. Actually, let's get the oxygen off. I really don't need that anymore. There we go. There goes Air Jamaica. Woohoo! Safe travels, sir. Alright. We'll go ahead and cut the engine with the little paddle. We'll just flip it closed. It's that easy. It's really that easy. Alrighty, folks. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here and power everything down, and then we will just about be finished. So as always, I want to thank you all for watching. This has been BelGeode, and I have been flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator X Steam Edition in the Iris Simulations T-6A Texan 2 in the shark livery, no less. And if you have enjoyed what you have seen, please feel free to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. I will be back with some more fun stuff at some point in time in the very near future. I'm thinking the next thing that I'm going to do that you'll see on this channel is probably going to be a Dovetail Flight Sim World version of the Jamaica trip. Only, I think this time around, I'll pick an aircraft that's a little bit faster. So that way we can get it done in one episode instead of 3. But with all that being said, that will do it for me. So thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate all your support. This is BelGeode signing off. Ciao!